Wow. I mean, I would normally say, "Holy shit, what a day!" But my running mate Louise is over here, and she doesn't want me to say that. She's
I guess.
she's going to help me tonight. So this may go a little longer, and so if you have some questions or comments that you want me to try to address, I'll do my best. She's going to help me to try to get this tonight. What a day in history. 50 years ago to the day that Nixon resigned the presidency, we have not a raid, folks, not a raid, a search warrant executed on the home of the former president of the United States. Not a resort, not anything like that. Not a raid like you would see, doing weird stuff. This was the execution of a search warrant, and there's a lot to talk about here. But the first thing I want to do, and I've been watching a lot of the media, and I really applaud a lot of the talking heads that I've seen tonight, because they've really tried to lay out for everybody what this means, a search warrant, and procedurally. So let's just break that down just a little bit, because it's really significant as we go forward to understand exactly what the process was today and why it was so big. And why, by the way, it has no damn comparison to Watergate and the break-in of the Democratic National Committee. None. Here's the thing. In order to get a search warrant, the Department of Justice, who has been doing obviously a hell of a lot of investigation, and if I do say so myself, I've been telling you guys for months now that I believe that the department was moving efficiently. They were doing things their way, that I thought the Attorney General was being very deliberate in what they were doing and how they were approaching this. And I think what we saw last couple of weeks with regard to subpoenas was confirmation of that. Certainly tonight was a confirmation, but there is more to it with the events that unfolded today. In order to get that search warrant, a investigator, whether it's the FBI, the director of the FBI, who, by the way, was a Trump appointee, the director is, Chris Wray, had to go before a judge, a United States district judge or magistrate, to get a search warrant. And they present an affidavit. And that affidavit is sworn to. It's under oath, just like we've seen all the witnesses in front of the January 6th committee, under oath. They swear to tell the truth, subject to perjury. That here are the facts, and they lay out these facts. And the facts have to show this judge that, number one, there's probable cause to believe a crime has been committed. We don't know what that might be yet. We're hearing different things about classified documents and all, but we really don't know that for sure. Sources are saying something. But that's the first step. Probable cause, which is not a huge threshold, but it is a threshold. Probable cause to believe that a crime was committed. And second, that there is evidence of that crime on the premises sought to be searched. Also important. And it's especially important for a couple of reasons here. Number one, they've got to show that they've got some evidence, that the evidence is there now. Not that it was there a year ago. Not that it was there on January the 21st or the 22nd when Donald Trump got back to Mar-a-Lago, but it is there now. And that means it's fresh. This evidence is fresh. I also kind of think that the FBI had some reason, the DOJ had some reason to believe that if there is something there, that it was in serious risk of being destroyed. Maybe it was the pictures that came today where we saw torn up pieces of paper flushed down a toilet. Maybe it was some other evidence that we've seen from the National Archives about how they went to Mar-a-Lago and retrieved a bunch of boxes, and they had to piece them together because they had been torn to pieces. Whatever it is, evidence of a crime, probable cause to believe that that evidence was at this premises and is there as we speak. Now that's incredibly important. Number one, I want people to remember that two branches of government are involved here. This is why this is not like Watergate at all. I mean, Watergate was a third-rate burglary, a crime that was committed at the Democratic National Committee by some of the henchmen for the President of the United States and his then Attorney General, John Mitchell. A third-rate burglary, a crime itself. Here we've got two branches of government, the executive branch in the Department of Justice and the judicial branch, that is the neutral and detached magistrate as required by the Constitution, that passes on the evidence to determine probable cause, as I just talked about just a minute ago. That's why this is not Watergate. That's why this is so significant. Never before in the history of this country has a former president, has his office, has his residence, personal residence, been searched via a legally obtained search warrant. Never before. It's a big deal. It's incredibly significant because there's so many things. And the thing that I want folks to understand, we can speculate a lot. This affidavit that I talked about that the FBI had to sign, an agent had to sign, that's not going to be public for a long time. Not until a case may be brought and it was challenged in court. So the odds of this affidavit, unless something comes up in court and it's made public, this affidavit, we're not going to know the full story of it. And we shouldn't. This affidavit needs to be held privately. It needs to be held in confidence and sealed right now until this investigation is complete or indictments are returned and it's given to folks as a part of the discovery process. That's the way it does. That's the way it should work. That's the way I'm assuming it's going to work right now at this day and time. So what we're seeing playing out is so significant. And I think that gives you the process, but it's the culmination. The other thing, and again, I don't know what's in that affidavit, but what we may have seen is the fact that there may be somebody that has now come forward and cooperated. What we've seen, obviously, over the last few weeks, more and more people are coming forward. So many times, an affidavit for a search warrant is not just based on the statement of an agent who's been investigating the criminal activity, but it's based in part on information given to them by a confidential informant. I don't know, and we can speculate. I don't know. But what I do think, there's a good chance that this may be the case because the evidence, somebody's got to say this evidence is there now. There's reason to believe. There's a lot of ways you can do it, but the best way is with somebody saying, yeah, it still exists. The other thing, and I saw Mark Elias's tweet, and I saw Harry Littman on CNN, and some others that are now picking up on this. The criminal statutes basically say that if anybody is conceals, destroys, obliterates, whatever, classified information, they'll be disqualified from public office. You know, I have said now for a while that I've been a little surprised I hadn't seen anything coming out of the House, a resolution disqualifying Donald Trump based on the information that we've seen. This may, and I say may because we're still early in this particular phase of this investigation, it could do that. That's a really important part to consider, that there may be a disqualification component in everything you see going on. And I want to remind folks about something, and I hadn't heard this mentioned a lot. Remember that if the government is going on the destruction of evidence, the concealing of evidence, and those kind of things of classified material, there has already been some indication that documents that were retrieved at Mar-a-Lago were torn up, and the archives had to piece them together with tape. We may already have seen evidence of a crime and just didn't fully realize and appreciate it at the time because we were focused on so many other things. So what is it that this today means? It means everything. For a criminal investigation, what they have, it doesn't necessarily mean anybody that lives at Mar-a-Lago is going to get indicted, but it damn sure puts the heat on. It dang sure makes sure that it gives every appearance that resident of Mar-a-Lago is the subject and a target of a criminal investigation for activities that occurred prior to today. There is no question about that. The other thing that I want to make sure we comment on is that there has been, I think the former president talks about a banana republic, and now we have become, I think he called it a third world country like this, where the government's just run roughshod over everybody. Again, not true, not at all true, remember what I said a moment ago. Two branches of government. This is not just the Biden administration and the Biden Department of Justice trying to take out an opponent or possible opponent. Two branches of government had to be involved. A judicial branch of government had to be involved to make sure this happened. Totally unlike the third world countries that Donald Trump was trying to tweet about. We still have a ways to go. We still have things going on. This investigation is not completed by any stretch of the imagination. But here's the thing that we need to do, because we're already seeing the crazy, absolutely, I won't use the term batshit comments again because Louise is over here, but it is. You know what I'm talking about. The comments that I am seeing on Twitter and others, from Kevin McCarthy to Marjorie Taylor Greene, people are talking about violence. People are talking about defunding the FBI now. I mean, my God, folks, we're talking about extremism like we've never seen in this country, at least not since the Civil War and the extremists of Southern racists that decided to not be a part of the United States. We've not seen this kind of extremism that we're seeing, and it's dangerous. So we got to talk to people, and we got to talk to people where they are and logically. We got to talk to people about where we are in this country and the rule of law, because everything you're seeing, everything that you're seeing from the other side and these extremists has nothing to do with the rule of law. What we saw today is the rule of law being played out just exactly as the framers of our Constitution said it was supposed to be played out. But we really, in order to kind of cool just cool down the tempers, of everything going on. This is not about Donald Trump. This is about a crime, a possible crime that may have been committed. We don't know all the ramifications. We've got to make sure that we talk to people. We got to make sure that we understand. I saw Kevin McCarthy's tweet about the fact that how politicized this has all been, and how if the FBI, if Republicans get control, they're going to come after. I've had this thing that before where I've talked about my rule of politics, where every action there's an equal and opposite reaction. What's happening today is not political, but it's being perceived as political by so many people because it's to their political advantage for it to be perceived that way. And we can't let that happen. We've got to come back to the rule of law. We've got to come back to the two branches of government. We've got to come back to the Constitution of the United States, something that so many, from McCarthy and Marjorie Taylor Greene and all those folks, are just ignoring. They're just ignoring it. It's up to us to try to make sure that we bring this back to the rule of law that's existed in this country for 250 some odd years, or close to 250, whatever the numbers. We've got to bring this back. What you've got to do, and I know that because I feel it too. I see these comments and I get pissed. I'm thinking, what in the hell are these people thinking? What are they doing? How are they destroying this country the way they're doing? What could they possibly be thinking? But let me tell you something. We've got to channel this anger. We have seen so much. They're angry, not just because the president's home was searched. They're angry because guess what's happened over the last months of the summer and the weeks in the last few weeks? They've seen that Democrats can get things done. They've seen that we're delivering to the American people. We're bringing down gas prices. We're doing the things. We're addressing climate. We've addressed gun safety. We're addressed mental health. We're addressing health care. And we're reacting to the Roe versus Wade being overturned. We're reacting to women who has had their rights taken away. We're reacting to that. And let me tell you, they never thought it would happen. These extremists never thought it would happen, and they never thought that the people of America would pay attention to what we've been doing and where we are. They think that all they had to do was go, oh my God, the economy. Oh my God, have you seen the prices at the pump? Well, I'm going to tell you, they need to go look at the prices at the pump right now. They need to go look, because every time I filled up the last couple of times, prices are going down and down. They thought they could do it. They thought they could win it by just having no plan and complaining. And now everything is turned upside down, and these folks are afraid of losing power. That's the whole name of the game from these extremists, the power. Look what happened at CPAC in Texas this week. Oh my God. A group that used to be just a conservative, good, small government group has now turned into extremism of the worst possible kind. And Viktor Orban from Hungary. Folks, we can channel this. We've got to make sure that people who are there, that our neighbors and our family, I said this the other night when we were talking, we've got to talk to them. We've got to not get mad at them when they complain about this. You know, my mother tonight, I talked to my mom, and she said that one of the workers at her assisted living facility came in and told her that one of the other residents, who's a big Trump supporter, was in front of the TV crying. You know, because and I get that. I understand that to some extent. I understand that people that support Donald Trump, I think it's misguided, but they do. We've got to talk to those people, and they need to understand what it means for what happened today and the evidence and the kind of thing that we've got. We've got to use our concern and our anger, bottom line, to get out to vote. We've got to make sure that we do this, because think about what Kevin McCarthy said tonight. He's going to channel this to do all these investigations. Merrick Garland, he said, he challenged Merrick Garland. He said, make sure you preserve your records, which was mighty damn ironic considering the Donald Trump folks from the Secret Service to the Department of Homeland Security, nobody preserved their records. But Kevin McCarthy is now saying, preserve your damn records. Oh, the hypocrisy is unbelievable. But we've got to talk to people. We've got to channel this. We've got to do this. You know, somebody said earlier when I was talking to one of my team here, they said, you know, we're good at taking to the streets. Well, we need to take all this to the polls. Come November, we need to defy history. We needed to make sure that we use what we've got to make sure that we can right the wrongs to get this country back on the right thing. Have we got anything that I need to do? Yes. Oh my God, look at all this. I've got all. Let me just have them.
The one on the bottom.
One on the bottom of this one? Okay. Are we missing White House documents enough grounds for the right? Absolutely. I mean, look, I think there's more. I mean, I do. The question was, are missing White House documents enough grounds for this search warrant? Yes and no. I think that there's a lot more that has gone into this affidavit. We're going to have to see that. The timing is interesting. Remember, we got Jeffrey, Eastman's emails, text messages from his phone that have been analyzed. We've got now Alex Jones at Lying Bastards text messages from the last couple of years. So we don't know what's on those. We've got all kinds of information that could have gone into this. Good question here is what happens after the search and what's next. Look, they're going to, if they can find any documents, if they find evidence, and remember during this search warrant, they're not limited if they see other evidence. This is a broad investigation. So we're not limited to just the evidence that they might see or that they're looking for. If they see other evidence of crime, they can get it. So the next step is going to be for the FBI to analyze that, to look at that. They're going to interview some more witnesses. Nothing is going to happen immediately. The search warrant is not an arrest warrant. As I've said all along, let's let them do their job. Let's let the FBI do their work. I've been trying to say that for a long time. Everybody has been really anxious about this. But the fact is, they are doing their job. And I so much appreciate the way that the Attorney General and his team has handled this. So again, let's kind of close this out. I've been rambling on for 20 minutes now, and I want to make sure I go back to one, the significance of where we are in this country, not just this raid, but where we are and how we use this. I mean, look, we're in a moment in this country's history like no other. And we are divided. We are divided as like no other since the Civil War. Remember, Lincoln said that a house divided cannot stand. It's going to be up to us We're seeing the McCarthys and the Marjorie Taylor Greens of this world, the others, Salwell, all those guys, Gates, not Salwell, Gates, all those folks, they're going to be dividing this country. It's up to us. We got to pull people in. We've got to make them understand and see the rule of law and how important this is. We can't just be pissed at what we're seeing from these people. We can't just be pissed at the tweets we see or whatever it is. It's not a tweet anymore from Donald Trump, but his statements. We can't just be angry about that. We got to work to make this a more perfect union. Right now, we're struggling, and we are in a moment in history that it's going to be up to us. I am fully convinced. I absolutely believe. I've been saying it for a long time. Our party is beginning to see that the governing majority that I've been trying to talk about for the last year, a governing majority where our big tent folks come together to try to do the right thing for the American public, the right thing to go forward on so many issues that people mean something about. That's what we've got to use this about. This is going to take care of itself. The Department of Justice, we now know that Merrick Garland is doing his job. As I've said, we know that. Let him do it. But let's us, our job now is to not prosecute Donald Trump or persecute him. Our job now is to tell people about what's going on and how we can come together. That's what we've got to do. If you can do that, we're going to save this democracy. We're going to make sure that come November, we're going to defy history. And we're going to have the kind of Congress that we can get even more done than's been done in the last week. Look, this is up to you. Things are out of your hands when it comes to prosecutions. Totally. Doesn't matter whether it's DOJ or the Department of or down in Georgia. It's out of your hands. You can't do a damn thing about it. What you can do, but everybody that's watching this, everybody that sees this at some point over the next few weeks can do is to talk to people, to bring them around, to understand, to engage with them on a civil basis and have them understand the importance of what we're seeing happening right now and the importance of coming together and to heal these divisions, because it's the divisions that are killing us right now. And we cannot let the Kevin McCarthys and the Marjorie Taylor Greens and the Matt Gaetz and the Ted Cruzes of this world carry the day. We can do this because we know, the folks watching this, we're the ones that are and have always been on the right side of history. So thank you. Thanks for hanging out with me a little bit tonight. Let's stay together. Good night.